What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is season 4, episode number 4, I believe it is, you guys. This episode was titled KeKe, Do You Love Me? All right, you guys. So before we go ahead and just get into this review, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you guys are not subscribed to the channel, I need you guys to do me that solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know you can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and sharing the video. And with that out the way, you guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and discuss Love and Marriage Huntsville, shall we? All right, you guys, so this episode, we open up and we see Mel. So Mel is at home and Tiffany comes over, right? And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, and I know a lot of people love Mel, right? But I gotta be honest, when it comes to Mel and her interactions with people, they give fake, right? It gives kind of affected, because listen to her talk to Tiffany, I'm like, girl, are you really interested in this conversation, right? It just comes out fake, right? So Tiffany is talking about, the pajama party that Mel had, right? And, she was talking about how, she and Kimmy had that conversation, and now she and Kimmy are good, right? But then she looked over and you see Stormy, and, her and Stormy, it ain't what it is, right? It's an issue. So I do like what Mel said, right? Mel was saying in one scene that, you don't have to get along with everybody. You don't have to like everybody, right? And she feels that Tiffany and Stormy should sit down and have a conversation with each other, right? That's true. Like, you can definitely sit down and have a conversation with each other. You guys don't have to be best friends. You guys don't have to, go to the spa. You guys don't have to do any of that kind of stuff, right? So I agree with what Mel was saying in that scene, right? So then Mel said that, Tiffany came off, what did she say? What was the word she used? Tiffany didn't, now see, y'all know how I feel about Tiffany, right? Tiffany didn't do anything to warrant that response that she got from Stormy. Stormy was coming in being messy. So nothing Tiffany said or did warranted or elicited that response that she got, right? So then, messy Tiffany, she brings up the fact that, Martel had the book signing and the kids weren't at the book signing, right? So I saw a lot of comments last week about this whole situation. People said, oh, Mel could have took the kids to the book signing, right? That is true, right? But it was her weekend, so why should she imposition herself because of Martel, right? Martel should have said, let me plan this for a weekend or a week that I have my kids instead of doing it for a week that Mel had the kids. So I can see both sides, and I said it last week, I can see both sides of the coin. So then, Tiffany's talking about her divorce that she had, right? And, remember, her ex is deceased, right? So Tiffany said that she left her marriage because she was very selfish and she wanted more money. It is what it is. I ain't got much to give to that, right? When it comes down to Mel and Martel, I just really want them to stop with the petty shit, right? Because it's on both sides of this fence. It's both Melody and it's Martel, right? You guys are both equally petty, and I just want them to both stop with the pettiness, right? Because the only people that are being affected by this are the kids. That's it. The kids are the only ones that are being affected by the situation. Nobody else but these kids. But so yeah, let's move forward, you guys. So then we see Tisha. So Tisha, she went over to Kimmy's crib, right? So Kimmy and Maurice have just gotten back from their vacation. Kimmy is talking about how much fun she had on their trip, how she feels that, that they should do a group event, right? So then they talk about the reunion, and you guys remember the conversation that they had at the reunion when Carlos asked Kimmy, if you and Tisha weren't sister-in-laws, do you think that you guys would be friends? And you guys remember that Kimmy said she doesn't believe that they would be friends, right? And I even said it in my review, I understood exactly what Kimmy meant, right? Kimmy was saying that, and I think that a lot of people were like this, right? You don't want to have a friendship where it's friction, where you guys are arguing, where it's always an argument with each other, right? You want to be in your friendship is just like any other relationship, a relationship with your parents, a relationship with your spouse, right? You don't want to, yes, friendships and, relationships has their ebbs and flows, right? But you don't want to be in a relationship with someone and it's always bicker, fight. You don't want to be in a relationship like that with someone, right? So I got what she meant, right? So then they went on to talk about Melody's pajama party and the fact that Melody had invited, KeKe to the party, and that they were having a lot of conversations about Letitia, right? And I didn't agree with that, and we'll talk about how it comes back up later at the end of the episode, right? KeKe, that was just fucked up, right? I don't care what your cousin has done. Why, like, you're discussing her marriage with someone that you know she has an issue with, and I just didn't agree with that. But like I said, we'll discuss that later. So Tisha is gonna have a conversation with KeKe, right, you guys? So what I'm gonna do right here is we're gonna pause right here and we're gonna move forward. All right, you guys. So next up we see Maurice. So Maurice went down to Black. He's talking to Marceau, right? So then, you know, Marceau and Maurice are talking about the fact that him and Kimmy just got back from their honeymoon, right? And Maurice is talking about the fact that, you know, when they were on the honeymoon, Kimmy couldn't keep his hands off him in the bedroom. I was with Maurice. I'm like, yeah, bruh, I wouldn't want to know about my brother's sex life. No, thank you. So then Lewis came down, right? So you guys remember that Lewis had the conversation with Martel about the reunion, and, you know, Martel suggested maybe they should sit down and have a conversation with each other, right? I don't know if this conversation went the way that Big Lou had planned it, because it was an epic fail, my dude. Like, an epic fail. It was hilarious to me, though, but it was an epic fail, right? So Lewis says that he feels like Marceau at the reunion came at him, you know, very hard, right? And Marceau says hard but fair, right? And I you guys know I go in on Marceau, right? But I gotta agree with Marceau. It was hard, but it was fair, right? Because Marceau was saying that you're trying to give me advice on my marriage, right? But you've been married twice, right? Your first marriage wasn't successful. You got a divorce, right? We don't know why you got divorced, right? And now you're in the second marriage with Tiffany, and you guys had a surprise wedding. So you're not the poster child for, you know, marriage, right? So you can't really give me advice when you don't have the expertise in it, right? The thing that threw me and had me cracking up in this whole entire scene was the fact that it feels like Lewis came there basically to check Marceau, right? But in the process, he got checked. I was like, damn, Marceau is giving it to him and he's hitting him with facts, right? Like, Marceau was hitting that man with some straight up facts, and Lewis couldn't do shit but be like, And it's so funny. Remember last week's episode when Big Lou was talking to Tiffany and he had all that, his chest was all bucked up and he was, and fuck that, like, I knew him this and that and that and that. And Marceau did mention it. He says, you knew of me. We never shook hands. We never broke bread with each other. So what you talking about, my dude? And I was like, oh, for me to not care about Marceau that much, I was for Marceau in this scene. And then at the end of it, Lewis ended up apologizing to Marceau. But Maurice did get Marceau to apologize to Lewis for being excessive, right? Did he take things a little too far at the reunion? Being honest, yes, right? He did. So now we're going to move over to Martel. So we see Martel. So Martel met up with his manager, Melnika, right? So they're talking about his business. They're talking about the fact that he wrote he's written 3 books, right? He wrote a cookbook, he wrote a fitness book, and the kids book, right? So they had to change the cover of the cooking book, because the cooking book, it was Martel in an apron with no shirt on. And I'm like, I don't know any woman or man that would want up that book cover. But hey, go off, right? So then they're talking about the fact that, you know, Melnika, with the kids' book, she would like it if they can get a billboard out there in Times Square, you know, because Martel is talking about traveling. So it would be a good thing if Martel go and takes the kids, right? They in Times Square, they take a picture. He says, okay, but we need to do that, you know, a week that I have the kids. I'm like, that's what you should have did for the book signing, right? And granted, I'm going to come back and say what I just said a few minutes ago. Mel she could have, if she wanted to, she could have took the kids and let them be there for the book signing, right? And she could have been off away from Martel, right? But again, what I'm going to say is they need to think about the kids, right? Because the things that Melody and Martel do, it puts the kids squarely in the middle. That's my personal opinion. If you guys agree or disagree, it's whatever, right? But that's my opinion. I felt they put the kids squarely in the middle of their bullshit, and I just don't agree with that, right? Um, so then she tells him about his wine, right? So she's saying that, with the wine, they need to do a tasting, right? She says she wants to do that. And man, she says, in Huntsville? She's like, no. If we're doing it in Huntsville, people that know you, they're probably going to be like, oh, it's good just because it's Martel. I'm like, people really do that? Go to, speaking of which, right, you guys, have you saw that TikTok where the girl was doing that live review and she I don't know, she couldn't figure out what to do with the product, and her cousin came up and her cousin said, ooh, that shit stank. And her face just went like, she's like, yeah, that stuff stank. She's like, wait a minute, you live? Is she on there? Girl, I ain't said that shit stank. Child, I have cracked up laughing each time I saw that. But, so no, she wants to have it in Atlanta, right? I was like, Atlanta? Atlanta? Now, you guys, I don't know how far Atlanta is from Huntsville, Alabama. Because I'm trying to think, right? Because I know from Texas, I know we have to drive through, I know, to get to Atlanta if we drove, because it's like a 10-hour drive from here to Atlanta. And we had to drive through multiple. So we got to go from Texas. Do we have to go through Luke? No, we don't. Yes, I know we have to go through Alabama, but how far is Alabama from, and Huntsville and Atlanta? But she wants to do it at a mansion in Atlanta. She wants to get some celebrities to come out. So she says, you also need to tell me the guest list. So then he tells her he wants Maurice and Marceau there, right? And I got what she was saying, right? It's cool to have them there, but this whole drama with this picture, make sure y'all keep that shit away from the business. And I got that, right? But I'm like, why do y'all want to go to Atlanta? I'm like, his ex-wife frequents Atlanta, and okay, I guess. Let's pause here, you guys, and wrap up, and we're going to wrap up the episode. All right, you guys. So next up, we see Stormy and Tiffany, right? So Stormy and Tiffany met up. So Stormy wants to apologize, and she just feels bad about what happened with Tiffany, right? But then she did say that Tiffany made a smart-ass comment. Now, unless it was the editing, because remember at the pajama party that Tiffany said that, that's like bringing up something when you were like 13, right? And remember, Kimmy said, oh, you was being smart. I still didn't understand what Tiffany said that was so smart. So I don't know what the smart ass comment was. Maybe it was the editing. I don't know. I just never got the smart ass comment. If you guys know, feel free to drop down in the comment section, right? So what they're doing is they're trying to foster I don't even know if they're trying to foster a relationship, or if they're just trying to see if there can be a friendship or whatever between them. So they talk, right? So Stormy does apologize to Tiffany, and then she asks Tiffany, where did the transparency come from? And Tiffany, like, transparency with this group? What did she say? I forgot what she said, right? But I wish we would just leave transparency in season 3. I wish transparency would stay in season 3 and stay out of season 4, right? But I was with Stormy. When Tiffany started running off at the mouth, I was writing my notes, but then I was like, wait a minute. What the fuck is she talking about? Like, I stopped listening after a certain minute. And then when Stormy said, girl, I zoned out for a minute. I was like, girl, you and me both, right? So then they talk about, Stormy says, I can't even blame it on the pregnancy brand. So then they talk about Stormy's pregnancy, right? So I think Stormy said she had endometriosis, right? And so she had to do IVF because they said she couldn't get pregnant naturally, right? So she did IVF, and Tiffany was like, would you get pregnant again? She said, girl, no. She said she almost wasn't here with us, right? She had a difficult pregnancy. I think she said she hemorrhaged. God, the things that women go through to give birth to kids, it's a lot, right? And my hat is always off to the mothers out there. My hat is always off. So then, Tiffany says that, she didn't have the best pregnancy either, but she does want to have another kid. Child, when Tiffany said, she said, you 34, right? She said, yeah. I was like, what? Tiffany's how old? Y'all can see my gray hair. Tiffany is 34? Girl, you could have fooled me. I never would have guessed Tiffany was 34. So you telling me Tiffany is 2 years older than me? Two. Because you guys know I'm 32 and I'm about to be 33. Because they filmed this. I feel like this probably was filmed last year, right? So Tiffany is literally 2 years older than I am. Am I the only one who thought Tiffany was like in her 40s? No shade to anybody in their 40s, right? But the way Tiffany dresses, girl, it just gives someone that grew up. I was about to say something shady, but my mother shopped for me. I was about to say it looked like somebody. She dresses like somebody who grew up in the days when Montgomery Wards was around. If you guys know the store Montgomery Wards, like, girl, you just looks. Shut up, JB, shut up. Okay, we're back. So then Tiffany talks about the fact that her parents live there, right? But she also is trying to find her biological father. Ugh. You know, I'm in a similar situation, right? Because I'm this close to finding my biological father. I'm close to finding him because I did an ancestry, right? And I found some relatives that are on his side of my family. And I'm at a point where I'm like, do I want to pursue this, right? Because I'm kind of apprehensive. I'm kind of nervous about potentially. I'm kind of nervous. The reason why I'll say you guys, the reason why I'm nervous is I don't know what to expect from this guy. Even if I don't know what to expect, right? I don't know if he will embrace me. I'm 33. I'm about to be 33 years old, and then with me being 33. I also have to wonder another question: is my father even still alive, right? So just have those kind of questions that run in my brain. Is he alive? Will he accept me? You know, me being 33, well, almost 33. I had those questions, right? But hey, it is what it is. So then we see Tisha. So Tisha is at Black, right? And she's meeting up with KeKe. So when she sat down with KeKe, baby, Tisha wasted no time getting into it. So she talked about it, right? So KeKe deflected, right? KeKe is trying to say that, you talked about me about 5 years ago to Melody and Martel, right? And not Kimmy, but Tisha was like, girl, what? And even I was like, girl, what? Carlos, we giving everybody a confession at this point, right? Because KeKe has one. Let's go down the line. Everybody has a confession of this season. The main cast, Wanda and her curls, Stormy, and now KeKe. So everybody gets a confessional. Can I have a confessional? Can I have one? Can I get one? Can I get one? But that's neither here nor there, right? So the situation is that KeKe says that Tisha talked about her to Melody and Martel, right? And Tisha's thing is, I apologize for that, right? But she says, I wasn't laughing or joking about you or anything like that. She said you were invited to a party and you were going through a situation. So I just wanted to give the host a heads up about the situation, right? And you can feel, depends on how you guys feel about this, right? Because here's the thing, right? They didn't say what the situation was, but if it's a situation like, say for instance, I'm having a party, I invite one of my friends, right? And then I invite someone else, and these people are close with each other, and say this one friend I invited, she's having an issue in her relationship, or I invited someone that she may have an issue with, like, oh, she has an issue with such and such, or oh, her and her husband are going through such and you don't have to tell the particulars, but if someone's going through a difficult time in their life, you want to tell people so that way if their mood is off, you don't, especially because when people notice that someone's mood is off, they'll be like, oh, what's wrong? And sometimes people be like, I don't want to talk about this in front of a group of people. So before everyone gets there, you can say, hey, such and such and such and such is going on with such and such. So just kind of be, if their mood is down, that's why, right? But at the same token, I can kind of see why she feels the way she feels, because that was her personal business. So if she then wanted Melody and Martel to know her business, she could have told them prior to her coming, right? So I can see both sides of the coin. But the thing is, here's my issue when it comes to KeKe. This happened 4 or 5 years ago. Tisha's apologized for it. Why are you bringing it up? Obviously, you didn't forgive Letitia for what she said, right? You didn't forgive her, so you've harped on that, right? And it feels like you use this opportunity now that she and Mel have an issue. Well, technically speaking, Tisha doesn't have an issue with Mel. Mel still has an issue with Tisha, right? So if it looks like you took this opportunity to basically capitalize on some friction within their friendship, whatever you want to call it, friendship, relationship, whatever you want to call it, right? It feels like you took this opportunity to be messy and get some shit started, right? I would have had a lot more respect for KeKe if she said, "Yeah, you know, I was talking about Mel, talking to Mel about you because you did this to me, and bitch, it was payback," right? I would have more respect for her in that aspect, right? So Tisha's thing was, I thought we were good, but obviously we're not good because you still held on to this shit. So we can dead this. We don't have to have any kind of contact with each other, right? So Tisha got up and left. So when she left, she went outside and she called Kimmy, and she was talking to Kimmy. And then KeKe came outside, and KeKe said, "So who you talking to me about? Who you talking to about? Who you talking to?" Let me get my words together, you guys. She said, she came outside and she said, "Who are you now talking to about me?" Right? I was like, and that's where the episode ended, right? So let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Please leave your comments in the comment section below and subscribe to the channel. Turn on your post notifications, share the video, and until the next time, you guys, stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Remember to wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. So I'm gonna do every video today, right? So I still gotta watch Love After Lockup, but I'm gonna watch that before I do Candy and the Gang. So I'll do Candy and the Gang tonight. And so the first two videos you guys will see will be Love and Marriage Huntsville and Power Book 4 Force. Then after that, you guys will see Love After Lockup as well as Candy and the Gang. So that's how it's gonna go, you guys. So until then, stay safe. And once again, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.